Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all really well. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a makeup tutorial slash get ready with me. It's an everyday makeup look. It's something that I definitely wear every day, hence the name. And it's also one with a little bit of a difference because I don't know whether I've spoken about it yet on my YouTube, but I know I definitely have on my blog. But essentially I suffer from rosacea, which gives me these very lovely red patches which sometimes can look a little bit like acne, and they're bumpy on my skin. You'll see them in a minute because I will have no makeup on. But yes, they're quite unsightly and I'm quite self-conscious about them. At the moment I've got them to a place where I'm feeling a little bit more confident because I'm using lots of new skincare that I'm finding is really working. But at the same time, when I'm going out and I want to feel glamorous and like I can kind of conquer the day, I do want to cover them up and have a flawless base. What girl doesn't? So I've been trying for, well, all of my life basically, to have a makeup look that I can rely on to take me through the entire day and not have those red, unsightly patches showing through. I've tried a million different foundations, a million different brushes. I don't find that I can use a beauty blender because it cakes it up, and I also have dry skin, so it kind of makes those patches show up more. But recently I have discovered a way of creating a base and a makeup look that does last all day, and it does also cover up those red patches and they won't come back throughout the day. So I thought it would be a really interesting video to show you guys because I don't know how common rosacea is. It might be that not that many people suffer, but I know that we all have our little insecurities on our face that we sometimes want to cover up. If we get spots, if we get a little bit kind of red and dryness, then this is hopefully helpful. Now I do find that in creating this look it's important to start with skincare, and I haven't included skincare in this video because it's a whole nother ball game. But I would invest in a really good primer, a really good moisturiser, an exfoliator that has glycolic acid or some kind of ingredient that exfoliates rather than particles, because sometimes they can irritate your skin further. At the moment I'm using the Glam Glow Super Mud Mask, which isn't necessarily an exfoliator, but I find it just removes all the dead skin and removes the oil from my pores and any kind of imperfections. It just takes away, ready for the day. So I did use that this morning, and I do use it a few times a week. I also use the La Roche-Posay Rosalic Intense, which is localized redness intensive serum, before I muller the name even more. But I found that's really good at toning down the redness, calming down your skin if it looks angry and irritated, and it's really good to apply before you start applying your makeup. In a moment I will have all my makeup taken off and you will see the full extent of my wonderful rosacea, which has been the bane of my life for a long time. But hey, we all have our little imperfections. It is something I'm conscious about, but it's something that I'm learning to realise is just part of me. And I can cover it up with makeup. I've now learned a way that is really effective. I used to walk around feeling really self-conscious, but I now don't have to. So yes, if you do suffer from rosacea, I hope this helps. Please feel free to leave any questions below or any recommendations if you have any products that are lifesavers. And yeah, apart from that, I hope you enjoy. So to start with, I am just prepping and doing my base. I found this really hard to get right because, as I said, I have rosacea and there aren't many foundations and kind of ways of applying that really effectively cover it up. And usually I found with a lot of other foundations, I'll get like halfway through the day and the red like patches will start to show through. So I found this kind of dabbing technique best at maximising the coverage but not kind of giving that cakey look. And as I have dry skin, it's quite important that I don't cake it on, because otherwise it will look a complete mess by the end of the day. So this is a really effective way of getting the perfect coverage, making sure it covers up the redness, but ensuring kind of an even finish. So this isn't any kind of special brush. It's just, I think it's one of the fine brushes. I am using MAC Studio Sculpt in, I think it's NC30. So it is a little bit darker than my actual skin, but I find that my face doesn't tan, so when I do actually have a tan, it manages to kind of even everything up, which is very good, because no one wants a different colour face to their body. This is a really attractive look with my hair behind my ears. And then I will go over in the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation in Warm Beige 3.5, just to cool the orangey tones down, because as much as I love NC30 and it is a great colour at tanning my face, I'm kind of warming it up and bringing it to my normal skin tone. I do find that in some lights it can look a little bit orange, so I just go over with the skin foundation. And the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation is a lot more watery, so it creates a more dewy look, whereas the Studio Sculpt can look a little bit matte once you put the powder on. Because I've taken my skin to one skin tone, as it were, I like to powder, because as much as my skin is dry, it gets oily in the day, so it's just a nightmare basically. The most troublesome skin you can have. But what I like to do, instead of just putting a matte powder or a translucent powder, is put an illuminating powder, because it looks a little bit more dewy, a little bit more natural, and it just makes your skin glow a little bit more, which I like. So at the moment I'm using the Bobbi Brown Nude Finish Illuminating Powder in Buff, and I'm actually almost out of this, which is very sad and very upsetting, but it shows that I use it lots. And I just dab this over where I can feel myself start to kind of sweat, which is lovely, but we all do it. Once I've finished with that, I will then go over with the NARS Eden powder just under my eyes to illuminate it a little bit and brighten under my eye area. I don't actually use concealer. Oh, I've just poked myself in the eye, because I find that the Studio Sculpt is a really great coverage, so I don't actually use concealer at the moment, especially for every day. I mean, if I was going out I probably would, but at the moment I like to kind of keep it as natural as possible. Next up, I'm just going to illuminate, highlight with the Bobbi Brown Pink Glow highlighting powder, and I just go over with a fanned brush just at the top of my non-existent cheekbones. I do sometimes use this in the corners of my eyes when I'm going out, but for every day I just don't have the time and can't be bothered really. I'm then going to just warm up my cheeks with a little bit of bronzer. Bronzer is one of those things that I can never get right, because I always put too much on or too little on. So I'm going to try and get it perfect. Now, I have attempted contour before, but for me, I don't think I have the skin or the patience for it, so I don't tend to contour. I just use like highlighting and bronzer. That is my base. I then just go over once more with the illuminating powder, just to warm everything up and finish it off. And then I go over with a powder brush with nothing on it, just to smudge everything together. Technical term, smudge. My rosacea has pretty much completely gone or disappeared under the foundation. Unfortunately, it's not gone forever. This is a really kind of effective way of creating a base that will stay on, and it's tried and tested. It definitely will stay on. I've put it through its paces on a 7-hour flight and it's still there when I get off the flight, which is really good. Found the most effective thing for creating that base is that dabbing technique with the foundation. I would use, if you've got dry skin, which normally is associated with rosacea, then I would use a mix of two. And the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation is just really good because it's very hydrating, and then the Studio Sculpt is really good for that coverage. So I use a mix of the two, and it also means that you can obviously mix the colours in and create your perfect shade, because my skin, don't know about you, seems to change shade every single day. So that's quite good for mixing and matching. I know a lot of people start with their eyes, and you should really do that because then the eyeshadow doesn't go on your perfect created base, but I always forget to do my eyes, and the first thing I want to do is cover up the rosacea so that I can feel a little bit more glamorous. So next up is the eyes. I will probably start with my eyebrows just because I have none, and I use the Benefit Gimme Brow just because it's really good at filling them in and looking natural, but it's so quick and easy. So you literally, I really need to get my eyebrows done because they're looking hideous right now, but I'm sure you will get the idea. So I just keep going over with the little brush. The Gimme Brow has actually got little fibres in it, so it will thicken, but the most important thing for me is to just give it a little bit more colour, because I have very strange coloured eyebrows. They're like a light brown, and whenever I get them tinted, they never last more than about a week. So for me, it seems a bit of an excess to keep getting them done and paying for them. So this is my saviour. If I am going out, I will draw them in a little bit better and darker and spend a bit more time on them, but obviously when you're rushing to go in the morning, and invariably I'm always late, this is a much quicker, simpler and stress-free option. So for my eyes, I'm going to use the Body Shop Down to Earth Eye Palette in 01 because I love the natural nudes and smoky colours that they've got. So I'm going to be using this one here, which I don't think has a name, but it's a really nice kind of dewy, smoky and a little bit glittery and shimmery brown. So I am really rough with this because I don't know the proper way to do it, but it seems to be okay. It seems to be working for me until now, so that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is just blend it out. So this does take a lot of it away, which is why I put a lot on to begin with. But it just kind of smokes it out and blends everything together without you having to use a million different brushes. Which is cool because the easier for me, the better really. So next I'm just going to apply a little bit of eyeliner. I'm not going to attempt to do a cat eye flick on camera because it will go wrong. It does anyway, so it's not going to go right on camera. So I'm just going to put a little bit of eyeliner on my waterline. Is that what it's called? Lash line? Waterline. Now I do find sometimes this can kind of close off your eyes, but if you use a white or a silver one, it opens them up. And then I am using the eye-opening mascara, Bobbi Brown, in black, funnily enough. And I have the shortest, stubbiest lashes. I used to get the lash extensions and they just completely wrecked my eyelashes basically. So I detoxed from them for a while. And then I went, I had the LVL lashes, which I found made my eyelashes grow like double the length that they were. So I am desperate to go and get that done again, I think. There's also a product that I use called Rapid Lash, which makes them grow a lot. It's really effective if you have had the lash extensions and you found that your eyelashes are falling out and things like that. So this is one eyelash done and one not. So it's a little bit of a difference, but not too drastic. I cannot fiddle about with false eyelashes every day. I wish I could because I love the effect and the look of them. But for every day, I literally just put a slick of mascara on, and I don't actually put it on the bottom lashes anymore. I just find for every day it's quite nice to just leave them open a little bit. I find sometimes when you put mascara on the bottom lashes, it can close your eyes off a little bit. So this is quite a good way of doing it. Okay, that will do. So this is the finished look minus the lips. So for every day I just use a colour that's a bit nude, that pretty much is the colour of my natural lips, but just to kind of define and line my lip line. So I just use the Bobbi Brown Crayon Art Stick in Brown Berry. And I've got foundation on my lips, so I'm just gonna smooth it over, lick them a little bit, because that's the professional way to do it. And then just line them. So as you can see, I've just done the top lip and it's not all that different from my natural colour. So it's just to give it a little bit of definition. Oh, I just had it on my tooth. A little bit of definition and just a little bit of colour. So there we have it, the finished look. And there is no rosacea in sight, which is very exciting. The final thing I do to set everything and cool myself down, because usually I get in a hot sweat doing my makeup, is the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray, and it's very long lasting, it's oil free, paraben free, etc. It's really good at not making your skin flare up and just setting it for all day wear. Probably one too many sprays, but oh well. You just let that dry. And there's the finished look. So I hope you've enjoyed this very amateur makeup tutorial. It's what I wear every day. It's very quick, very easy. And as I said, if you are looking to cover up skin, troublesome skin, rosacea, it does really work effectively at making sure that the red doesn't show up as you go through the day. I know personally, when I used to do internships in London, I'd try and pile on the makeup because I hated my rosacea so much, and it would just cake up and dry off and kind of melt off. And I also, because I had dry skin, used a lot of moisturiser, so it would melt off as well. So it was just a recipe for disaster basically. So this is my tried and tested way of covering up rosacea and making your foundation and your makeup in general last all day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. That would mean the world to me because I'm still very new at this, still learning, and any suggestions you have for videos, please let me know. But until then, I will see you next time.